Hey everyone, welcome back to day 2 of practicing for the Disc Golf Valley Players Tour, week 2. This time I'm jumping into Nokia Front 9. If you haven't seen yesterday's of the series, this is about figuring out the lines and making sure I'm safe to get at least a good run at birdie on every hole. Sometimes if there's really tough winds, I might accept the par. For example, like on Emporia 4, very tough birdie to begin with. A tough wind, accept the par so I don't get bogey. So walking through here, figuring out my lines, and making sure I know what I'm going to do come this Friday or Saturday when I get a chance to play. Here on Nokia 1, I take the accurate wind musket. I am down low. And I think ideally this is actually like an Explorer line, but since I don't bag that, I'm taking the musket on about 2/3 power. That should hook up and slides down there, usually for a putt or tap into the basket. There's the putt. I'll do one more without the heavy wind coming in. Hopefully to show you guys what that looks like without the wind. Sometimes I add a little bit of hyzer to it. Okay, I'll get to restart here because I'm on hole 1. I won't get to restart future holes for the wind. Here we go with 2 wind, accurate wind musket. Aim at these 2 trees here. Add a little bit of hyzer and 2/3 power. Taking the power rock gives a little bit more stable finish. Make sure I end up down here by the basket. Not ace running this. I don't want to end up down that mess behind and have a terrible comeback look. That's birdie play all day is what I'm going for there. Hole 2, actually I kind of struggle with this a little bit, getting the angle just right. I think it might have to do with using a non-accurate disc to get down there. But I take the glide roll drive. I usually take default aim and adjust for the wind just to follow the shape of the fairway to get down here. That one worked out. Let me try one with a 1 wind if I can get a chance there, because that was a lot of wind adjustments with the 1 wind. Okay, no, big wind again. Let's get it down there. Oh, if you get that 3 right to left, you're definitely going to know what you're doing here. This hole, it's really just about getting close. The drive is the right distance, so don't end up OB left, don't end up in the trees on the right, and you should have a good look there. This is kind of silly. Okay, let me try with that glide roll again. See if I can get a 1 wind. If I can't get on the next one, I'll just move on. Obviously, you see it's just less wind adjustments for that possibility. You guys see as I'm working through these practice rounds, I'm going to try and give you an idea of the risk-reward analysis that I'm making on each hole. It's not going to let me have a 1 wind. Here I'm going to go a bit wider, though, and a bit of Anheuser to get around. No chance in running this, or no point in running this, I think. There's the fence back there that stopped me from going OB, but you could end up behind those trees with no look. I'm going to move on to the next hole. You can see there's just a little bit less adjustments if you do take the glide roll ride there in the 1 wind. This is a fun one. A line I got from, I believe, Dan. It's the accurate glide sapphire, forehand out here to the left. The forehand, make sure I end up on the right side of this short fairway. And then Dan used the Zeus to get up in there. Obviously, I don't bag the Zeus, so I'm going to take the glide skip paradigm, aim right at the base of this big tree here with a little bit of hyzer. Let's see if I can hook up enough there to keep that safe. Oh, yep, managed to stay safe. I want that to be a little tighter though, so I'm going to try aiming a bit higher with that same little bit of hyzer. This is my ideal line where this is going, kind of skating up these trees and keep sliding up there towards the base of the basket. So I think that's what I'll do when I get there in the Players Tour. Instead of going here, I'm going to use that middle chevron and kind of put the middle of that middle chevron on those trees. Again, should slide up there, give me a chance. If I'm within like 100 feet, it's an easy decision to run. This is 130. Honestly, Players Tour, I might decide to even lay us up, depending on how confident I'm feeling that day. Try to put it in here at 130 power. And that's exactly why I'd consider laying that up in the Players Tour. Missing a little bit off. That's a big 2-stroke swing there. Try and get that 130 correct this time. Yeah, well, I'm not hitting that very well, so this is kind of confirmed for me on the Players Tour. If I'm 130 out, there's a very good chance that I'm going to be laying that up. Yeah, missing 3 in a row. I'm going to tap that in if I'm that far out. That's a layup in the Players Tour. I'll take the birdie. Again, it's not worth that risk of going OB. I think if my chances of taking the bonus stroke are reasonably high. Oh, I didn't mean to replay this hole. My chances of taking the bonus stroke are reasonably high, and the chances of going OB or adding more strokes to the score by messing up are relatively low. That's what I'm going to be looking to be running for that bonus stroke. It's squirrely up here. Obviously here short by the trees. I'm going to be laying that up. Let's try and get that a little bit wider around. I think this might have a chance. Hopefully I can get in there to take what would be the eagle look. But now the dead skip. Now I'm behind this tree. It's a very easy decision for me. Just throw the harp up to the base to be able to tap in for the birdie. I'm just going to show par because I took a rethrow. But it's practice, so I'm not worried about the score. Yeah, so it's an accurate glide Sapphire. Then the Paradigm try to get me deep in there. The Zeus will have that little bit of natural turn. Dan has a great line for that. I don't know if he has any. I think he shared it on Discord. Not sure where else it might be for the great line to get in there for a good look at that eagle. All right, another risk reward analysis hole. This is a good win for it. So I'll show you if I was playing around going for it in multiplayer, I might try and slot that gap, but that's exactly why I'm probably not going to do it in the Players Tour. In the Players Tour, or even some multiplayers, if it really matters, I'm shaking the Sapphire up this gap to hopefully hit that. I missed it. Let's see, saving it here. 505. I'm going to go the glide water skip, arrive, and get up there. There's a lot of forgiveness. Having the ability to throw in really helps a lot with just being able to get close. That gave me there. The trees will be a little bit in the way, but I think I'm in front of them and can safely ignore those to throw that up the hill. Let's try that again without the tough wind. Show a more kind of standard line. Really just getting up there is the goal. Getting past that first tree. Here we go. Getting past that tree, out into the fairway. This is giving you a good look. It's okay if I leak off to the left here. There's a lot of room to swing in out to the right and hyzer something in, like the Warship. Come in here, take a little bit off of it. Lots of room to swing that in. So that'll be the play in the Players Tour. Sapphire, and then Warship or Musket, depending on how close I get to tap in there for the birdie. Well, I guess not quite a tap in, 49 feet. Still a little bit of work to do, but should be reasonable to get. All right, here on Nokia 5, this is every time accurate when musket. Aim low and throw it up the gut and slides up to the bottom of the basket. It's not even worth doing this a few times. If there's a tricky wind, I'm probably just adjusting the hyzer and hyzer angle. Maybe taking a little bit of power off to headwind. I might go up to a glide Sapphire. Oh, just habitually hitting that replay. It's okay, I'll take the musket again, show you guys there how that wind even helps. We got a lot of forgiveness here. Even hitting this tree, who cares? That was a good kick. Even if you kick down, you're still close for that putt. Let's move on to hole 6. It's a pretty boring hole. People might ace run that. They have a chance of making it. I've been aced against on that hole, especially in multiplayer. But it's one I haven't put the time in to make a run for it. So I don't have a line. I don't want to end up deep. This 3 right to left one here at 6, probably one of the harder ones to do for my typical line. Taking a backhand Sapphire here. Add an anhyzer. Definitely added way too much that. It does get lucky sneaking through. Let's try that again without so much anhyzer and so much height. Yeah, seeing through that there. If you get past that tree, there's a lot of opening up to the left here to keep you safe. And this is exactly the reason to practice. You know, in multiplayer, I might have to do a little bit more scrambling or trying to do creative things. I mess up a shot. But coming into something like the Players Tour or when it was Global League, I'm practicing this a lot so that I'm not scrambling when it comes in. I'll probably throw this shot, 5-10 times. That feels like a lot to me. 5-10 times coming in to make sure I have that tee shot down. So I'll be worried about that tee shot coming into the next week of Players Tour. Here's another one where you could get aggressive, taking the Paradigm up there, But again, the mistake that can happen is hitting the early tree. You can tell I don't really play the aggressive line a lot. Let's see if I can get one up there to have a look at it. Now, I'm not going to bother with the aggressive line. Honestly, it's here, again, backhand sapphire. Get out to the gap. And once you're out to that gap, you hit this little lane, and you get a nice, simple throw-in up to the green, 200 feet. Come there and slide. And that horizontal branch I just passed blocks a lot of my typical throw-in lines if I'm trying to get there. So a lot of times the birdie play for me, I've seen the really elite levels of play. I've been getting those more people getting eagles against me on this hole. Not as much. See if I can get a calm wind. Show you in here. There's a calm wind. Take the sapphire, get it past that first tree, and out here to the open fairway. And once you open the open fairway, take some power off what you're expecting to do for it, if you were throwing it in, and then you slide up to take the birdie there. So again, this is a rather boring golf hole. You can make an exciting eagle hole, but it also might be an exciting par hole if you go for that. So I think that's just a low chance of the eagle and high chance of messing up and having to do a lot of difficult scrambling if you get caught early there. It's super easy. I'll hold this one time. Accurate wind musket, slide right, aim up a little bit so you get over those first bushes, and give it almost a full Wi-Fi bar of hyzer. There's nothing going on here. Easy birdie, move on. The ace run is a really low chance, low percentage ace run. Obviously, Aaron Christian has that line, like he has an ace line for every hole in the valley. If he doesn't yet, they're coming soon, of course. I don't want to take the risk, and I don't have a skip fairway to be able to do that. All right, here's when you do that two plays. You can take accurate wind musket up this gap here to the right. I've thrown this one a lot, threw it for a long time. If there's any bit of a tough wind, you get some trouble trying to get through that gap. So I'll take a forehand accurate glide sapphire, keep that aim more default, aim out to the left here, and hyzer it in. This one, even if you hit one of the later trees, I am going to here, you're a lot closer to be able to make that throw in. So I think the right gap is going to get you closer more consistently, but it's hard to hit that gap. This left gap, taking the glide sapphire around there, you might not get as close, but you're going to be birdieing more often. And it definitely can get close to you if you hit that line just right. Got it going in there. Going to drop this in for the birdie. So I feel ready. I'll take a few more runs at some of those longer holes to make sure I get through the gaps